Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a Leather Element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. So how about a comment from a viewer saying, great question. There are all kinds of leathers out there, but what leathers are best suited for what projects? Well, let's see if I can help. Let's start right here because for the newer folks, this is going to answer a couple of questions. As leather crafters, we're typically going to deal with two types of tannage. There's a number of them out there, but for the most part, we're going to work with chrome tans and veg tans. We'll talk about the veg here in just a minute. But our chrome tans, this is a garment and upholstery leather, typically lighter weights, more supple, and usually in very beautiful, vibrant colors, textures, and finishes. Now, I jokingly call these cut and sews because this leather is dyed, it's top coated, it's ready to cut and sew into a project. Veg tan, very different. So let's take a look at that. And that difference is huge because with a chrome tan, I mentioned that those are cut and sews. We can't manipulate the leather. Veg tan, different story. The tannery has said, basically, we're going to tan this leather up to this point. From here, it's up to you, okay? We'll rise to that challenge because now we can stamp, we can tool, we can wet form, we can dye in the color we want, we can antique, we can paint, we can top coat. There's so many ways we can go. So now we're manipulating the leather and the project. All right, so how about a couple of specifics on veg tan? Weight-wise, in all the weights possible, from 1 ounce up to 14 to 16 ounce. That's saddle skirting. That's for the skirting and the fenders on a saddle. But also, I've got a suit of armor, 22 to 24 ounce leather. That's a cake of leather. Now, the tannage, somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 years old. We're still doing it the same way. We've refined that a little bit, but still the basic process. All right, one more great point. What happens when we combine veg and chrome? Oh, all kinds of spectacular outcomes. Sky literally is the limit. All right, so let's jump into this now because we're going to look at a leather that has a very specific use. And that is a sole bend. Now, if you're thinking sole, S-O-L-E, like a shoe sole, well, actually, you're exactly right. This leather is literally tanned for shoe soles. It is thick, it is tough, and it is hard to work with. So this is one of the leathers for us crafters we're not really going to work with. This is for the big manufacturers that can work with this type of leather. Big clickers and dies. Now, for us costume folks, our first thought, wow, that's going to make a nice piece of armor. Well, actually it will, but we've got better options. Like our saddle skirting. This is simply too tough to deal with. Okay? Well, how about latigo? We've heard that term, but what is it? And this is one of my all-time favorite leathers. Now, a latigo, technically it's a chrome veg retan. It's tanned twice. So they're going to tan it for the chromes to get some good strength, but then they're going to veg tan that. That's going to give it some firmness and durability. Now, it's got a heavy blend of greases and waxes. So this is a perfect leather to be out in the elements. Some of the best projects here, radio straps for our firefighters, pet products. How about gun belts, rifle slings, rifle scabbards, tack? So many ways we can go with the latigo. Now, here's a big point. For so long, latigo came in burgundy, period, end of story. Not the case now. We now have this in multiple colors, multiple weights. This is a great leather. We don't have to dye it. We don't have to top coat it. We cut and assemble. Again, one of my favorite leathers. All right, next up, one that's going to look familiar, but we're not sure why. If you've ever seen a work belt with tool pouches, there's a high chance that that was a nubuck leather. That's exactly where we've seen this. It's a chrome tan, 5 to 6, so it's got some good strength, good body, and good thickness. Now, it's got a buff finish to this. Makes it look a little bit like suede, but it's got all the strength that suede doesn't have. Some possibilities with this? Well, actually, they're endless. But here's some ideas. Good pair of working chaps, backpacks, journal covers. Make a beautiful belt. We need to line it, and we can. But also, motorcycle bags. And one I really want to see, gun belts. That would make a beautiful gun belt. we have to talk about suede because this is a leather with so many possibilities, and it's a great leather for us crafters. Well, first off, less expensive per square foot, noticeably, and there's two reasons for this. Well, first off, typically chrome tan. That's a faster tannage process. But secondly, these are commonly called splits because at the tannery, they're going to take a hide and they're going to split that horizontally. We'll get our top grain, we'll get our flesh side. That's where our suede comes from. Well, now typically chrome tan, so we've got these beautiful vibrant colors. And in fact, at Weaver, I think we have the prettiest colors on the market, but we've also got a little bit of weight there. Now, downside, we don't have strength here. That leaves when our top grain leaves. But for the projects we're going to use suede for, doesn't matter. Common projects, welding gloves, welding smocks. Well, it's got good grip. That's why it's used on saddle seats. So axe handles, hatchet handles, sword handles makes a great handle. But also standalone projects. How about blue suede shoes? Absolutely. Suede jacket, suede boots, purse, bag, pouch, so many ways we can go with this. But my favorite route is as a liner. Well, we can cut through our top grain, bring that color through. Now, like I said, we've got good grip here. So let's add that to the back of our mouse pad. That's not going anywhere. But also trunk handles, we cut through that. Adds a whole new level to our project. Liners, absolutely. Now, here's a great one. Our pouch, our shoulder pads, we drop in suede behind that. That's going to stay right where we want it. Game boards, absolutely. Got a great video on that. I know I can't stop rolling on suede. One more because this is a great point. This is a game board I made in the 80s. And this goes on every camp out. In fact, it recently went on a camp out. We're talking about durability and some serious longevity. Absolutely. So with suede, again, so many possibilities. All right, one more. Deer Tan Cow is a great leather for us crafters to have in our shop because it does so many things for us, but we don't really think about it. And there's so much to say here. I'm going to do my best to remember everything. But let's start here because Deer Tan Cow, kind of an odd name. Here's where that comes from. So deer skin, when it's tanned in the traditional tannage, it is soft, it is supple, and it is beautiful. Here's the downside. It's a wild animal. It's a smaller hide, going to have a lot of blemishes and a lot of range marks. It's going to be expensive. That's not going to work for our upholstery and garment folks. So the tannery is going to take a cow. They're going to tan that similar to the traditional tannage. So now for the upholstery folks, the garment people, they've got nice big pieces. They can cut panels. They're not having to dodge a lot of blemishes. The good news for us crafters, this is about a third or maybe even 25% of the cost of a good quality veg tan. Now, for projects, all manner of possibilities. So first I'll think a soft side, maybe purse, bag, pouch, skirt, vest, pillows, all manner of upholstery. If we want to recover a stool or a bar stool, perfect way to go. It's an easy leather to work with and it sews beautifully. Well, one of the places I love the deer most, liners. This makes a gorgeous liner because it doesn't add a lot of weight to our exterior leather, but also it remains supple. How about we flip that? We want to make a holster out of our deer tan. Let's come in with a veg tan, whatever weight we want to end up with whatever thickness we want as a final weight. Let's come in with some contact cement. Now we've got a beautiful holster that's got ample body. Now, one more point, fringe. I love fringe. We sell fringe made out of the Deer Tan Cow. But when we cut our own fringe, we can make it any width and any length we want. This is a beautiful leather and I love to work with it. And again, thanks for the comments saying, great question. I hope there's some answers here, but also hope this highlights some of those leathers that we may not think about or may not be familiar with. And the same with our projects. Well, if it is good information, let us know in the comment box below. We'll make more of these because there are all kinds of beautiful leathers and all kinds of great projects to make with those beautiful leathers. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.